The question that we've been asked is, say I'm working on a matter, how do I pay myself? To explain this question, I created two kinds of matter. This matter is a family matter where somebody has given you a small retainer. Another matter is this matter where there's no retainer. There's absolutely no retainer. And you're going to be doing work on both these matters and we'll show you how to actually pay yourself. So let's look at Hillary matter. So you have a $500 retainer. Let's say that you've been working your way on a couple of events, like say initial client meeting and some form of document drafting, right? And you decided to do some flat rate billing. So you can say the first one you're going to bill say $250, and the other one you want to bill say $100. Okay, so when you add it up, right, the software is going to project you a total of 350 plus the appropriate tax for that jurisdiction, and it's going to tell you that there's still money left in trust and you need to actually go ahead and transfer that money. But remember, you cannot transfer the money from trust until you raise an invoice. This question mark can be a guide for you. So when I hit the question mark, it tells me there's 500 in test, but there's nothing to actually do as an action. So let me quickly raise an invoice. So once you have raised the invoice, if you go back to the matter and hit the question mark, it clearly tells you that there's $500 in trust, there's money in the invoice, that's the balance, and it tells you exactly what to do. It tells you that the client does not owe you any money. There's a pending transfer in trust that you need to do. And you just click on it, it brings you up a menu, it tells you to pick that element that you want to transfer, pick the trust account, pick your operational account, and hit the transfer button. Let's continue on the same matter, put more bill. Let's say, there was another court meeting that you wanted to charge, and again, make it a flat rate, and I'm now going to put more than the money in trust. Let's say I want to charge him another $200. Hit the save button, and once I do that, let me hit the question mark. All I've done is just put the docket and I hit the question mark. Now the software tells me there's nothing pending to actually transfer. So let me actually go ahead and raise an invoice. So once you raise the second invoice for $200, let's see what the question mark tells you. When I hit the question mark, it tells me two actions, $104.50 to be transferred from trust, and $121.50 is what the client owes. So this money you can immediately transfer from trust because it's already existing in your trust account. So you can press trust transfer. You will now see that the previous item is already transferred, so you cannot transfer it again. Select the new item, transfer it from your trust account to your operational bank account, and hit the transfer button. If I re-click on the question mark again, now it tells me there's no funds left in trust to transfer. So what are you waiting for? You're waiting for that check to arrive from your client to actually pay. And he pays you that amount, you can actually click on the payment button and say, oh, here's the check for $121.50. Okay, the check number is so and so. If you want to give him a receipt, you can click here, otherwise just do an apply, and now you will see that everything is actually going back to zero. Now this, what you see on screen here is the projected value, but when I hit the question mark, it really tells me where the accounting sits. So it tells me 500 was given as trust, everything has been withdrawn, this is the total invoiced amount so far, everything has been paid in full, there's no funds left in trust, and client owes you nothing. So as you saw, the question mark throughout this example guided you towards what you need to do. This is a second example of what we're going to actually do when the client has no money in trust. I mean, basically, he never gave you a retainer. You're purely working this on a general account basis. So it means as you start docketing again, initial client meeting and document drafting, and you start putting your dockets, let's say the same $300 and the $100, and you hit the save button. Now the total amount here is 400 plus the tax for that jurisdiction, which is 452. Now when you raise an invoice here, the invoice clearly shows that the person actually owes you $452. It even says here. But let's go back to the matter. Hit the question mark. When you hit the question mark, it says there's nothing in trust, nothing to withdraw. The only thing that you're expecting is the client to do the payment. When he actually pays you the money in either cash or check, you can hit the payment button. It'll bring you up the client payment window, and you can say that it was cash or bank. You can put the amount, put the check number, and do apply. So once you've applied the entire amount, if I re-hit the question mark, it clearly says you no transactions in trust. Whatever is invoiced has been paid, and the client actually owes you nothing. Now let's continue billing. Let's say we add another docket for say 225. Again, this is only projected balance. This is going to tell you how things are going to look like if you actually invoice. So it's going to tell you that 250, 425 is what the client owes. But if it's a question mark, it doesn't say that. The reason is you haven't invoiced yet. So let's actually go through the motions of raising an invoice. So now that the invoice is raised, let's go ahead and hit the question mark. The software clearly tells you that the client actually pays you 250, 425. So hit the payment button. Let's say he paid you $200. Go ahead, maybe it was a cash payment that you actually want to put in your cash account, and do an apply. And when you finish it, let's re-hit the question mark. Let's see what the software says. The software should say that the client still owes you $54.25, and whenever he pays you that amount, you can always say payment again. You can say $54.25. Maybe again it was another cash payment. You put it in the cash account, do an apply, and things should come down to zero. So what you see on screen is what we call the projected balance. Gives you a quick view of where your billing is headed to. Question mark is the reality. This is how you've been billing the client, and this is how you've been getting paid. To summarize, so what we said was question mark after your invoice will clearly guide you if you have to do a pending invoice trust transfer or a client payment.